Today we're making 3 lunch recipes that are packed with protein. These are super delicious, they're easy to prep ahead, and they're all ready in less than 30 minutes, so let's get started. We're kicking things off with my traditional chicken salad recipe. This is such a good recipe. It's the classic kind, so we have like onions, celery, dill. It's super simple. We're using a rotisserie chicken to save on time, so it's like 10 to 15 minutes to make this one. It's fantastic to prep on Sundays for the week ahead. We are talking 26 grams of protein per serving. There's 4 servings in this recipe, so you can make 4 sandwiches out of it. If you want to add even more protein, you could use like Dave's Killer Bread. I think those are 5 grams of protein per slice, depending on whatever kind you get. You can also put this on lettuce wraps for a low carb option, or you can just load it up on croissants or sourdough, which is always one of my favorites too. This chicken salad recipe requires really minimal ingredients to prep, which is why I love it. We are starting off with an onion. We're just gonna dice this up nice and fine. This is a yellow onion. I like that for sweetness. We also have some flat leaf parsley. You can use curly parsley too, and then some celery. Dump that right into the bowl. Next up, we're gonna cut up our rotisserie chicken. I like to use all of the meat on this, just not any of the skin. And I'm gonna dice it up. You can definitely shred it too if you'd rather. And then that's gonna go right into our bowl. Next up, we have some mayonnaise. We've got Dijon mustard, some salt, pepper, and then we're gonna use lots of dill. I really like dill in chicken salad. It tastes so good and fresh. Then you're just gonna stir it up. You can stick it in the fridge for about 30 minutes, serve it on some lettuce wraps, or you can make a sandwich. We're all finished up with our chicken salad recipe. This one is delicious, it's high in protein, and it's easy to prep ahead, so make sure to make this one. If you're still watching and you're working on your protein goals, drop a little muscle emoji in the comments below. Next up, we have our sweet Thai chili salmon, which is so delicious. You guys, this one's packed with 39 grams of protein per serving. It's great to make for lunch. It's also great to make for the family dinner. My kids love this one. It's sweet with a little bit of spice, but it's more on the sweeter side and just absolutely packed with flavor. So let's get started. For the salmon, I wanted to mention, so I'm using a wild sockeye salmon. I'll usually choose sockeye over Atlantic because you can find it wild more often. A lot of times Atlantic salmon is farmed, which is fine. I just like the wild sourcing versus farmed. I'm always gonna choose wild. It's just healthier. It makes more sense to me. Sockeye salmon is gonna cook a little bit faster than Atlantic salmon, so just keep that in mind. You really wanna have an internal thermometer. That way you can check the inside of the meat to tell when it's finished. Medium, you want it to be around 135 degrees internally, and then I usually cook mine until about 140 or 145 because I like it a little bit more done. Super easy prep for this recipe. We're gonna cut up some green onion in lime wedges, which you can actually do this when the salmon's cooking in the oven because this is just for topping. And then we just need 2 garlic cloves that we wanna mince up nice and fine. For the sweet Thai chili sauce that we're using, this is a Simple Truth Organic brand, which there's a couple of different brands. The other ones were more expensive, so I grabbed this one. But it's basically just like a sweet, sour, spicy sauce, and it's not too much heat. If you have kids that are really sensitive to heat, you can always like cut it in half and just do a little bit on just for extra flavor, or you can leave it off and then just add it at the end to the adult portions. To get started on that salmon, we wanna preheat our oven to 400 degrees. We're also gonna line a cookie sheet with some tin foil. This makes for easy cleanup. Next, we're just gonna add our salmon onto our cookie sheet, and when I take it out, it's a little bit wet, so I'm just gonna pat it dry a tiny bit. This will just help all those seasonings and like the olive oil and everything stick to it. I always laugh because I see all these like memes on like Instagram, and it's like, how am I supposed to work anymore when I have to worry about my protein intake? And it's like, it doesn't have to be that hard. Like I always think about that. I'm like, just think like fish, chicken, beef, like all your meats. You could do Greek yogurt, chickpeas. There's so many ways to add protein to your meals. All right, so next up, we are just gonna brush on a few teaspoons of olive oil right onto the top of our fish. Then we're gonna add our spices. I have a combination of paprika, salt, some onion powder, and some cumin. I'm also gonna sprinkle over the garlic all over the top. Next, I'm gonna just take and pour about half of my sweet Thai chili sauce over top of the salmon. I don't wanna dip my brush into it because I've already brushed that on, and I wanna be able to use half of the rest of the sauce at the end. So we're just gonna do a quick pour over like this. And keep that clean. And then we can just brush this on our salmon. This is gonna be so good. And this is gonna go into our 400 degree oven for about 12 to 16 minutes until that internal temperature reaches Really 145 degrees is what the USDA says. However, if you like your fish a little bit underdone, you can go to like 135. I'm gonna go to around 140 or so. Once I pop that salmon in the oven, I'm just gonna heat up the rest of the sweet chili sauce on the skillet on low heat. That way it's nice and warm whenever I pour it over. I'm cooking mine to about 139 degrees. I'm gonna top it with the rest of the sauce and some green onions. And this is gonna cut right off of the skin. You don't need to worry about removing the skin at all. Just check for pin bones. I found a couple in mine, but you can tell this is so nice and tender. I'm just gonna serve mine over some greens. You can also do rice or put it on a wrap. Okay, so this is a little bit spicy, but so good. Super flaky and pull apart. And by the way, I'm like really sensitive to spice. So for people who think it's like that eat spicy, you probably won't think this is spicy. So good, a must try. Yum. For our final recipe, we have these air fryer chicken bites. These are so good. We are just doing a classic dredge on these. We're gonna do some flour, then we're gonna do egg, and then we're gonna do a panko breading, which is so crispy and delicious. These have 37 grams of protein per serving, and my kids are obsessed with these. They cook in the air fryer in just 10 minutes, and they are absolutely delicious. So let's make them. This is such an easy recipe. We're gonna start off with a spice mixture of some onion powder. We've got garlic powder, paprika, and some salt. We're gonna mix this into our panko breadcrumbs. And then as far as the chicken goes, we just wanna chop this up into about 2-inch pieces. This is gonna be just like nuggets would be. I like to use breast over tenderloin so I don't have to see the tendons out. Then just pat it dry, season it with some salt and pepper. We're gonna make our egg wash with just 2 eggs. Then you're gonna dunk each chicken in flour, then we're going into our eggs and then our panko mixture. It's super important to make sure that the whole entire surface is coated with each mixture for the best taste. Then you're just gonna finish these all up, just put them on a plate, and we're gonna preheat our air fryer to 400 degrees. Once the air fryer is preheated, I like to spray it with just a little bit of cooking spray on the bottom, just a couple teaspoons or so. Then you wanna add your chicken in an even layer, and then just give it another little spray of cooking spray. We're gonna pop this in for about 10 minutes, and you wanna shake it halfway through just to make sure everything gets coated really well. Next up, I'm making some honey mustard because I'm obsessed with honey mustard. I'll put my recipe in the description below. It is so good. It's one of my favorite dipping sauces. I'm also gonna serve it with some barbecue sauce, some ketchup, and some ranch, which I don't show right here, but my husband loves ranch dressing. Use your meat thermometer to check if these are 165 degrees or higher. If you made larger nuggets, they may need to cook a little bit longer, and then you can just serve them with all your dipping sauces and enjoy. That's it, we've done it. We have made 3 high protein lunch ideas, and you guys, how easy were these? They are seriously so simple. You don't need to stress about how to get protein anymore. Make these recipes for the week ahead and you will be all set. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to give this video a like if you liked it, and make sure to subscribe for new recipe ideas every single week. I love testing recipes that I can make perfect so that I can share them with you just to save you a little bit of time in the kitchen. Thanks so much for being here. I'll see you next time.